My name's Pete Woods, you're watching Hexham TV. Who are you?
My name's Simon Kitchen, I'm the Chief Exec of Bipolar UK and I actually live in Hexham itself. And I'm here to talk today about the horrendous delay to diagnosis for bipolar. It takes a shocking 9.5 years on average for people with bipolar to get a proper diagnosis, and that's having a devastating impact on people living with the condition. And they're experiencing awful symptoms like hypersexual behaviour, they're overspending, and intrusive suicidal thoughts. And our community tell us that almost a third of them have attempted suicide because of that delay to diagnosis. So what I'm doing is I want to raise awareness of this really important topic by walking over 200 kilometres from Durham, starting on the 20th of March, all the way up to Holy Island. So on that route, I'm going to be stopping off at Hexham on the 23rd of March to be able to gather some of my local community together for a stall at Hexham Abbey so that we can talk about bipolar and how we can support people to live well with the condition. So if you're affected by bipolar, you want to find out a bit more, please come down to our stall on the 23rd of March. It'd be lovely to see you.
So for those people that don't know, what is bipolar, Simon?
Bipolar is a severe mental illness and it's actually very common. It's about 1 in 50 adults are living with the condition, and it's characterised by extreme highs and lows of emotion. So the deep dark depressions that people are probably more familiar with, people have intrusive suicidal thoughts. So about 1 in 5 people with bipolar will take their own life unless they get help and support to manage the condition. It's one of the leading causes of suicide within the country. And the other side of the condition is the manic symptoms. So these can start off as kind of mild hypomania, where people have a lot of energy, they might be very productive, they can get a lot done. A lot of people with bipolar can be very high achievers because of this phase. But then if it's not properly treated, then those hypomanic episodes become full-blown manic episodes. And it's a bit like a train going down a hill, and people they're not able to keep control of the energy, and it just gets ramps up more and more and more. So what happens is people stop sleeping, they'll start becoming very erratic, they might start sending very long emails at work at 2 o'clock in the morning. They said they might experience hypersexual behaviour, where they find themselves in very vulnerable situations where people exploit and abuse them. And they might start spending lots of money suddenly on things that they don't need. So they might go out and they think, well, I'm going to buy a car, I can't decide what kind of car I want to get, so I'm going to buy 2 cars on hire purchase and get themselves in huge amounts of debt. And then when it goes so far, if they're not able to get control, then they often end up being sectioned and find themselves in hospital, which is a really horrendous experience in itself. So what we want to do as a charity is to be able to help people get a diagnosis of bipolar, but also to be supported to manage the symptoms, so that if they do become slightly unwell, that they can bring themselves back down to a balanced mood and to do the things that all of us want to do in our lives, like work and get married, have families and so forth.
If a family are finding that, or someone knows someone, if it's a friend of someone with bipolar, what's the most helpful thing they can do to be supportive of that person?
To educate themselves. So if they come to our website, which is bipolaruk.org, we've got a mood disorder questionnaire to help people understand the symptoms of bipolar, but also we've got an e-learning package, very short. It's people with lived experience talking about the condition, how it affected them, and then what support they could put in place to be able to help the person live well with bipolar. It tends to be friends and family who are the first responders, so to speak, around bipolar, the people that provide the majority of the support, and they have a really vital, critical role both in helping people get a diagnosis, but more importantly to be able to manage the condition and live well with it. And so many people with bipolar do live well with the condition, it doesn't have to hold you back in life.
And it can be very, very frightening, can't it, for the individual themselves once they get into that sort of manic high and low sort of situation. What would you say if someone's experiencing those symptoms? Where's the best place to get help?
If people are experiencing acute suicidal thoughts, they should call 999. So bipolar in suicide risk is the same as someone who's diabetic having a diabetic shock. It's almost like a physical thing, like those acute suicidal thoughts, they will pass in time, but people are really at risk when they're having them. So don't be shy about calling 999. In the same way, if someone's having a heart attack, you wouldn't think twice about calling 999 to get emergency support. So people should do that if they're experiencing those thoughts. If they're becoming slightly manic or slightly unwell, our website's got lots of support that they can go to. We've got an e-community which is free. We've got support groups people can go to help bring themselves back down to a balanced mood. But ideally, people should be able to go to their GP or to a psychiatrist. And if people are taking medication, which can be really helpful for a lot of people, changing someone's medication doses can be a really good way of being able to help manage the symptoms better. So there's lots of things people can do if they're becoming unwell, and just don't suffer alone. There's over 1 million people living with bipolar. There's another 5 million people who are profoundly affected through friends and family. So what you're going through right now, it is terrifying. It is a horrendous experience. No one would ever want to have bipolar, but you are not alone in going through this, and you can reach out and talk to other people and they will have been through the same thing. And most importantly, they've survived and rebuilt their lives as well.
So getting back to your walk then, Simon, what training have you been doing?
Everyone asks me that. I've done barely any training at all. I think I've been down to the gym twice to do some squats. I did a walking from Hexham up to, is it St Oswald's in Lee, which is up at Heavensfield. That's about 10-12 miles, absolutely fine doing it, but the next day my knees were really sore. So what I'm going to be doing is wearing some knee braces. I'm going to have some sticks. I'm going to take it at my own pace. I'm not the young man I used to be, so I'm not going to be ashamed of having lots of breaks. I've just got to get through it. It might take slightly longer than I hoped, but I'll get through the miles and I'll get there at the end. And I'm also joined by some really amazing Rotarians from Durham, from Hexham, up in North Northumberland as well. So they're going to be helping me on the way. And also got some one of our trustees at Bipolar UK, Jeremy Clark, and his wife's going to be joining me for the whole walk. So they're going to be supporting me. So if I do end up getting some sprained ankles or my sore feet, they'll be helping pick me up and carry me along some of it, hopefully. So.
Well, Simon, good luck with your walk, and thanks very much for telling us about Bipolar UK and how important it is for people to reach out and get help if they need it. So thanks very much for talking to Hexham TV.
Thanks, Pete. It's been a pleasure.